Former Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii, she actually found so obviously if you look at liberal media, they're still wringing their hands over what happened January 6th. Mm-hmm. Oh, these are the worst people in the world, right. Treasonous, yada, yada, yada. Tulsi Gabbard, however, has found a group of people that she thinks is even more dangerous and worse than them, and I will let her explain it in a video she posted to Twitter.
The mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th to try to stop Congress from carrying out its constitutional responsibilities were behaving like domestic enemies of our country. But let's be clear. The John Brennans, Adam Schiffs, and the oligarchs in big tech who are trying to undermine our constitutionally protected rights and turn our country into a police state with KGB-style surveillance are also domestic enemies and much more powerful and therefore dangerous than the mob that stormed the Capitol. Now, John Brennan said,
So I know looking forward that the members of the Biden team who have been nominated or have been appointed are now moving in laser-like fashion to try to uncover as much as they can about what looks very similar to insurgency movements that we've seen overseas, where they germinate in different parts of the country and they gain strength, and it brings together an unholy alliance frequently of religious extremists, authoritarians, fascists, bigots, racists, nativists, even libertarians.
Now, President
even
Biden,
libertarians.
I call upon you and all members of Congress from both parties to denounce these efforts by the likes of Brennan and others to take away our civil liberties that are endowed to us by our Creator and guaranteed in our Constitution. If you don't stand up to these people now, then our country will be in great peril.
In great peril from not only fascists and bigots,
but also
even
libertarians.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Unbelievable.
So, George, I know when you brought us onto this episode or introduced us in this episode, you kind of mentioned the weather here in Arizona being a sign of the end times. Me finding myself agreeing more and more. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be too effusive. There's still a lot that I disagree with Tulsi Gabbard about, but there are some things she's taught. One of the things she's not campaigned, but kind of worked on is transgender rights, or as far as keeping biological males and females separate in sports. Right. But that's a different topic. I also pretty much agree with her here, which is, not... Again, she is a Democrat, but she might very well be the smartest and most level-headed one.
She makes statements like that, and I think, literally, when I watched that video earlier, I thought, what is she doing in the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
I mean, and so sometimes I think, and you're right, she has plenty of policy positions that I disagree with. Mm-hmm. We should try and get her on the show and hammer some of those out, actually, because I'm pretty sure I could talk her into my
please,
into my positions.
Just tell her someone from Hawaii.
You think that would do it?
Yeah.
That position. Sometimes I'm tempted to think she's only a Democrat because she's from Hawaii. Yeah. Like only because if you want to be elected and you live in Hawaii, you have to have a D next to your name.
Yeah.
That's not true. There are. In fact, she'd probably be unhappy to hear me describe all of her policy positions in that way. But yeah, that is what a politician should look like, in my opinion. I doubt I'd ever vote for her for anything. Yeah. But this is an individual who is willing to stand up to the craziness of the left and even the political operatives in her own party and say, this is what appears to be truth to me. Mm-hmm. And we need to, this is almost classical liberalism as opposed to leftism. Mm-hmm. These things are dangerous and we need to do something about them. And one of the things I really appreciate about that is that it calls her positions into stark contrast with those of so many others in her party and on the left who are either ignorant of the consequences of some of the things that they say and believe, or at least say that they believe, or are actually in favor of some of those consequences, which is probably even scarier. She seems to be, and I have not met the Congresswoman, but from every indication I've had, for things she's written, things she's said, debate statements, all of those kinds of things, she just seems to be incredibly thoughtful about these things and unafraid to share what she believes is truth. And even if I disagree with you 100%, I have tremendous respect for people who are not just willing to speak the truth. Everybody will share what they think is truth. But to have thought about it and to actually express an opinion that has some weight behind it and not just what you woke up feeling that morning, which I feel is what so many people on the left do.